What's up, Steelers Nation, and all you NFL fanatics out there? The quarterback carousel is spinning, and it seems like everyone is waiting for one big domino to fall: Aaron Rodgers. But in Pittsburgh, one veteran is getting seriously impatient, the one and only Cam Heyward. Fresh off the latest episode of his Not Just Football podcast, Heyward made it crystal clear how he feels about the Steelers' ongoing search for a quarterback. And let's just say, he's not mincing words. "I want to play football," Heyward declared. "I'm tired of talking about the quarterback situation." Can you blame him? The quarterback market has been a bit of a standstill, with big names like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Joe Flacco all in the mix, talking to teams, but it seems like everyone's holding their breath, waiting to see what Rodgers decides before making their next move. This waiting period has clearly rubbed Steelers defensive stalwart Cam Heyward the wrong way. This is a guy who's bled black and gold for 14 seasons. When asked if he'd try to recruit Rodgers to Pittsburgh, maybe even offer to join him on a darkness retreat, Heyward's response was classic Cam. "I ain't doing that darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap," Heyward said with his signature bluntness. Then came his recruiting pitch, and it was about as straightforward as you can get. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers, if you want to be part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back. Tell us how you really feel. Cam. The Steelers did bring back Mason Rudolph this offseason, but they're still on the hunt for a quarterback to take the reins as the starter. Justin Fields, who was in Pittsburgh last year, has moved on to the Jets. Russell Wilson is still available, and the Steelers reportedly have interest. But he's also been talking to the Browns and the Giants. Rumor has it that the Steelers have even put an offer on the table for Aaron Rodgers. But the veteran quarterback is taking his sweet time making a decision. And Cam Heyward, like many Steelers fans, is clearly ready for some resolution. If Rodgers decides to go elsewhere, Steelers GM Omar Khan will have to act fast, because the quarterback musical chairs could wrap up in a hurry. One thing's for sure, Cam Heyward's message is loud and clear. If you want to be a Steeler, you'll be a Steeler. If not, well, they'll find someone who does. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Who should be the starting quarterback in 2025? Let us know in the comments below. What's up, Steelers faithful? We've been talking a lot about the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, and this article paints a pretty concerning picture for the upcoming 2025 season. It sounds like the team's hopes might be hanging on by a thread thanks to the Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson sagas. The article doesn't hold back, suggesting that the 2025 season has disaster written all over it for the Steelers. One of the main points of contention is the handling of Justin Fields. The author believes that Mike Tomlin pushed Fields away to the Jets, partly due to loyalty to Russell Wilson. But the real worry seems to stem from the Steelers' apparent reliance on Aaron Rodgers making a decision. The article suggests that the holdup in Rodgers' decision might be his preference to play for the Minnesota Vikings. And if he's not able to land in Minnesota, there's even a possibility he could retire, leaving the Steelers high and dry. Now, you'd think that if the Rodgers plan falls through, the Steelers could still land Russell Wilson, right? Well, according to this article, even that might not be a sure thing. There's a real concern that Wilson could end up signing with the Vikings, a playoff-caliber team that's also in need of a veteran quarterback. If both Rodgers and Wilson end up elsewhere, the article paints a bleak picture for the Steelers' offense, potentially being led by Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph. The author even suggests that this hypothetical offense wouldn't be as good as the Steelers' 2023 offense. Ouch. The article is pretty critical of the Steelers' front office, suggesting that they might have shown their hand too early in the offseason and don't have a solid backup plan if the Rodgers situation doesn't pan out. The author even goes as far as to say that 2025 could be the worst year of the Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh and possibly his last season as the head coach. That's some pretty strong stuff. It definitely raises a lot of concerns about the Steelers' quarterback situation heading into the 2025 season. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Is the situation really this dire? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What's going on, Steelers fans and football fanatics? Let's be real. The quarterback situation in Pittsburgh has been more dramatic than a soap opera lately. Last year, we saw a whole new crew roll into town: Wilson, Fields, and Allen, but now, the deck has been reshuffled again. Fields is soaring with the Jets. Rudolph's back in the building. And Wilson? He's still out there on the free agent market. Now, for some reason, the Steelers seem to have their sights set on landing the legendary Aaron Rodgers. But let's pump the brakes for a second, because there's a strong argument to be made that Russell Wilson is the only quarterback who truly makes sense for the Steelers right now. Think about it. Rodgers is going to cost a fortune. Wilson, on the other hand, while he'll definitely command a decent paycheck, won't break the bank in the same way. Plus, and this is a big one, Wilson has already spent a season in the Steelers' offensive system. That's a huge advantage. He's familiar with the playbook, the coaches, and some of the players. No need for a complete crash course. And speaking of players, remember the connection Wilson started to build with our star wide receiver, George Pickens? These two could be a real threat. Wilson showed a lot of trust in Pickens' ability to make plays. And both guys shine when Wilson throws those deep, contested passes. That's a recipe for some serious offensive fireworks. You might hear some folks mention DK Metcalf, but Pickens is our guy in Pittsburgh. Honestly, you have to wonder how long the Steelers can keep this quarterback dance going. They're risking missing out on both Rodgers and Wilson if they don't act soon. After the way last season unfolded, the Steelers' handling of the QB position since Big Ben's retirement continues to be a major talking point, and not always in a good way. So, is the Rodgers dream just a smokescreen? Is Russell Wilson the obvious answer staring the Steelers right in the face? It certainly seems that way to some folks. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Who should be our quarterback in 2025? Let your voice be heard in the comments below. What's up, Bengals faithful and NFL addicts? Stop the presses because the news we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Our favorite quarterback whisperer, Joe Burrow, must be doing some serious Jedi mind tricks because the Bengals have reportedly agreed to huge contract extensions for both of our superstar wide receivers, Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. Can I get a who dey? First up, the man, the myth, the touchdown machine, Ja'Marr Chase. This dude is reportedly signing a 4-year deal worth a staggering $161 million. That's not just a lot of money, folks. That's enough to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the entire NFL. Talk about a payday. Remember that little hold in during training camp? Looks like it paid off big time. And honestly, after the Triple Crown season he just had, leading the league in touchdowns, receptions, and receiving yards, you could argue he's worth every single penny. But wait, there's more. Our incredible number 2 receiver, T. Higgins, is also getting a massive extension. He's reportedly signing for 4 years and $115 million. After playing on the franchise tag last season and getting tagged again this year, Higgins finally gets the long-term security he's been looking for. This is fantastic news for the Bengals because keeping these two together with Joe Burrow is like having a cheat code for your offense. This news confirms what we already knew. The Bengals are serious about contending for a Super Bowl. Keeping this explosive passing game intact is priority number 1, and they've just shown the entire league they're willing to pay top dollar to make it happen. Burrow finally has his dream team locked in for the foreseeable future. What does this mean for the Bengals? Well, it means they have one of the most lethal offensive trios in the NFL, capable of putting up points in bunches. But it also means they've made a significant investment in these 3 players. And they'll need to be smart about managing the rest of their salary cap. But for now, let's celebrate. Ja'Marr Chase is the highest paid non-QB in the league. T. Higgins got his long-term deal. And Joe Burrow has his 2 favorite targets locked down. The future is looking bright in Cincinnati. What do you think of these massive extensions? Let us know in the comments below. Who dey? Alright, folks, picture this. Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, our charismatic QB, has been on a mission worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, saving private receivers. His targets? The sensational Ja'Marr Chase and the terrific T. Higgins. Burrow was like a one-man lobbying firm, tirelessly convincing the Bengals brass that these two were the keys to unlocking Super Bowl glory. He was dropping truth bombs about their invaluable talent and how a championship celebration without Ja'Marr T. was simply unthinkable. And wouldn't you know it, the Bengals, perhaps swayed by Burrow's undeniable charm and, let's be honest, the sheer talent of those two wideouts, gave in. Joe got his wish. Chase and Higgins are likely looking at contracts that could buy a small island, or at least a very nice yacht. Cue the confetti, right? Not so fast, my friends. Here's where the plot thickens. Seasoned with a healthy dose of NFL skepticism. While everyone loves a good offensive fireworks show, some folks are wondering if the Bengals have just built a house with an amazing living room but a leaky roof and a shaky foundation. The article we're dissecting suggests that Super Bowl contenders often prioritize building a strong offensive line or a defense that can actually, defend. Think about the Philadelphia Eagles, who built their Super Bowl run on a dominant O-line, or the Kansas City Chiefs, who, even after trading a superstar receiver, focused on building a championship-caliber defense around Patrick Mahomes. The concern in Cincinnati is that by allocating a king's ransom to their wide receivers, the Bengals might be left with pocket change to address other crucial needs. Particularly on defense. Last season, their defense wasn't exactly striking fear into the hearts of opposing offenses. They allowed a good chunk of points and struggled in the red zone. And that was with a defensive force like Trey Hendrickson. So, the million-dollar question is, can Joe Burrow, with his two incredible targets, be so good that the defense becomes a minor detail? Can they consistently win those high-scoring thrillers and outgun everyone on their way to the Super Bowl? It's a tantalizing thought, but history suggests that Super Bowl victories often require a more balanced approach. The article even reminds us of the Bengals' 2021 Super Bowl season, where running back Joe Mixon's stellar performance provided crucial balance to the offense. Ultimately, while Joe Burrow's persistence paid off and he's likely getting to keep his dream receiving duo, the Bengals are now facing a fascinating challenge. They've bet big on offensive firepower. Will it be enough to conquer the NFL mountain? Or will they find themselves wishing they had spread the wealth a little more? This Bengals season is shaping up to be a captivating and potentially hilarious rollercoaster. What's up, football fanatics? We all know Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs is a future Hall of Famer and a guy who's always willing to share his wisdom with younger players. Recently, he weighed in on the hype surrounding Travis Hunter, the incredible two-way talent who's expected to be a top pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Kelce, on his New Heights podcast, brought up a very valid point about the challenges of playing both offense and defense at the highest level of football. He specifically mentioned that while Deion Sanders famously played both ways, it wasn't for every single snap. Kelce suggested that NFL teams would have to be very strategic in how they use Hunter to avoid him getting too exhausted, factoring that into their play calling on both sides of the ball. Now, Travis Hunter has heard what Kelce had to say, and he recently gave his response on The Travis Hunter Show. And let me tell you, it's a response that shows maturity and a clear understanding of the challenge ahead. Hunter said, and I quote, "Like he said, I have to prove that I can do it. So that's my main thing. I'm a prove that I'm gonna do it. And I can do it." So he's not telling no lie. I still got to prove it. How about that for a grounded perspective? Hunter went on to explain that he knows he can't just walk into the NFL and expect to play every down on both sides without showing what he's capable of. He understands the need to go out there and perform at the level expected of him. For those who might not be familiar with Travis Hunter's college career, the dude is a freak athlete. In his last season, he hauled in 96 catches for over 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns as a wide receiver. And on defense, playing cornerback, he racked up 35 tackles, forced a fumble, snagged 4 interceptions, and defended 11 passes. Those are video game numbers. It's definitely going to be fascinating to see how Travis Hunter's NFL career unfolds. Can he truly be a consistent two-way player at the highest level? Travis Kelce has raised some valid concerns, and Travis Hunter himself knows he has a lot to prove. This is one storyline we'll be keeping a close eye on as the NFL draft approaches. What do you think? Can Hunter pull off this incredible feat in the NFL? Let us know in the comments below.